and he knows this case inside and out. He's written 2 books. Now, both these books are available on Amazon: Money, Power, and Sex, The Lori Vallow Daybell Trial, The Murder Trials of Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow Daybell, Series Book 1. And we'll put links to all of these in our chat and in the description as well. And then his other book is Chad Daybell, The One Mighty and Strong Religious Zealotry, Mormon Fundamentalism and Murder in Idaho. Well, he has a third book out. And as he mentioned, this third book might be considered controversial. And when I heard why, I'm like, I get it. And I agree with what Tom Evans says in his third book. And joining us tonight, we have the one and only Megan Connor from Third_Verse. And we'll be putting the link to her YouTube channel up. How are you doing, my darling?
I'm great. Thanks so much for having me again.
Oh, this is going to be a great show. I can't wait. And back from I think near death is Stacy. How you doing, Stacy? Are you feeling better? I hope, sweetie.
Not great, no.
So. Well, tonight's going to make you feel good. I promise.
Yeah.
And our guest of honor, our very, very special guest, the author, the juror, and the man that knows so much, and he is an important part of this discussion of keeping the truth about Chad and Lori out there, Mr. Tom Evans. How are you doing tonight, sir?
Good, Tricia. Thank you for the nice introduction.
Hey, this is going to be a fascinating show, and I'm so grateful that everybody is here tonight. Let's get right into it. And people, if you have questions in chat, put like 3 or 4 question marks so I can make sure to see them. And Megan and Stacy, if you have questions, just jump in and interrupt, because I'll just blah, 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 blah all night long, okay?
Okay.
So I'll let Tom get a word in edgewise occasionally. So Tom, tell us the third book. Well, let's start over. Why did you decide to write these 3 books, this series of books? And tell us about the first, second, and then go into the third, please.
Okay, so your audience, I don't know if everybody knows what my background is, but so I'll start with.
Yes, start with that.
I was summoned for jury duty in 2023, and I ended up spending 7 weeks in the Lori Vallow Daybell trial. And by the time the trial was over, I walked out of there with questions.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the burning questions that I had was, how can a mother murder her children and obviously be perfectly okay with it? And that turned out to be a really complex question, hard one to answer. And I'm on book 3, and I think I'm finally getting to it. But
good. It is a tough question. It is. But so book 1 was Lori, and just kind of give us a quick overview of that. And then book 2 is Chad. Quick overview, which leads us into book 3, and I'm so excited. So go ahead, my dear.
Yeah, so book 1 mostly was about my jury experience, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I went through the whole trial and everything, but I really had a lot of questions in book 1. I think book 2 was my attempt to get closer to answering more questions, and it focused more on the Chad Daybell trial, which I also attended every day of in Idaho.
Right.
Book 3, I think, kind of puts it all together. I go all the way back, start at the beginning, back in the 1820s, trying to get to a place where I can explain in a way that's understandable how we created a Lori Vallow Daybell, how our culture can produce. She's not the only one, but how we can produce people. She's kind of unique, but there's a lot of serial murderers, child murderers, and everything. And anyway, how we can get to a place where we create somebody like that.
I'm going to step back and ask you a personal question. And my apologies, I meant to start with this question. How is your grandson doing?
He's doing great. Going all the way back from the beginning, where we didn't know if he was going to survive or not, to now, he's living with us. The whole we're all in one house right now. So it's kind of it's crazy, but it's good.
He's doing good. He had a horrific accident, and it was touch and go there for a while, but he's doing a lot better now. He's recovering. I'm sure it's a bit slower than you would like, but he is getting better every day, right?
he's getting better every day. The prognosis is really good for something really close to a full recovery, which, we didn't expect that in the beginning. So we're
Right.
thrilled.
Yeah. This is Tom's wife, Susan. Welcome, my dear. And, Tom, Susan is welcome to come up on our live stream if she would like. Do you think she would like to?
Ask her.
Okay, Susan, I'm going to put the link to the live stream in chat right now. And if you want to come and join us on panel, we would all love to have you. Let me put the link right here. And there we go. Let's see. Yeah, you're babysitting your grandkids. That's why the camper background. It looks great. Looks like I'd want to go camping. That looks wonderful. It looks so dang cozy out there. So, okay, now I apologize. That's because like I said, I meant to ask that very first question. So now you've talked about, you've written the books, and they're on Amazon, and I'll be putting the links in chat here in just a moment. Now, we had a question. Are they on Audible yet?
No.
Okay.
I'm going to get to that, but honestly, writing a book is so much work. Getting a book published, doing all the editing, everything that goes into it.
Yeah. Oh,
I just haven't had time to do that. But maybe when all three are done, I can go back and do them in Audible.
well, that's good. And if I can help you with anything, let me know. Okay.
I remember you offered that, and I plan to take you up on that at some point.
Wonderful. Happy to do it. And I'm going to put Chad Daybell's link to the book on Amazon right now. And I'll put Lori's in there. And before I get started, before I get into the deep part of this conversation, Megan, do you have any questions?
My question is for the broader audience. I mean, are you guys ready for this? I don't think you are.
It's good.
I'm really excited for this book to come out. I've been reading, I wanted to finish it before we got on tonight, and I didn't quite get there. But I think Tom is going to piss off all the right people, and I'm always here for that.
That's our goal.
That's
if we
a great
piss off the right
compliment.
people, then yeah, exactly what you want to do. And Stacy, do you have any questions for Tom? Oh, she disappeared. Yeah, see, Chad's portal comes in here all the time and sucks Stacy out of the live stream. So there she is. Stacy, my darling, do you have any questions for Tom?
No, not yet.
Okay. Well, we're going to get right into it. And welcome, Joe Schmo. It's good to see you, my dear. Okay, so Tom, third book. What is the name of it, and when will it be available?
Okay, so I was thinking about this before we came on. I have a title in my head.
Mm-hmm.
It might be kind of controversial, and I'm not sure. So let's see what your listeners think about this.
Okay, let's do it.
What I'm thinking. So my idea is on the left hand of Christ, how we created Lori Vallow Daybell.
Oh, wow. Okay, hang on. I'm going to write that down so I will remember it. Okay. You know what, Offie, this is not helping. There we go. Okay. Sorry, guys. Okay, let's see. On the left hand of Christ.
How we created Lori Vallow Daybell.
Christ. How we created Lori Vallow Daybell.
And maybe let a little reaction to that come in before I explain it.
Okay, let's do that. I'm going to put it up in chat right now so you can see it. In fact, I'll make a banner out of it. Hang on one second.
That's a deep title.
That is, yes.
Because you're just, wow.
Very deep. Hold on one second. Let me get it up here in chat. Let me make a banner.
It's scary too.
Yeah,
It
absolutely is scary, So hang on here. Let me put it up on the, okay, there we go. Okay, chat. What do you think? Do you like it? Is it too controversial? Is it offensive? Tell us what you think. Let's see.
Can I give you my initial impression on that?
Yes, please do.
I identify particularly with the idea that we made Lori. And I'll
Mhm.
tell you why. It's because I watched throughout the process, as body cam footage came out and as police interviews with Lori came out, I watched pretty privilege prevail. Um, and we are a society that values a certain aesthetic, and we are a society that gives pretty white women a pass.
Mm-hmm.
And, I recognize that I'm part of the problem. Um, and I've had to kind of wrestle with that as well. And I think that's part of how we created Lori. And I know that's probably not exactly what Tom had in mind, but I think that title is going to resonate with people in lots of different ways. And when I hear Left Hand of Christ, I think Antichrist. Yeah, I mean, she and Chad were the opposite of what the Mormon religion was intended to be, in my opinion. So I think it's apt. I think it's controversial, but I think it causes the reader to have to wrestle with it, and I like that.
Tom's wife Susan has an opinion. I have trouble with it. It needs a lot of
She
explanation.
doesn't like it. I'll just tell you that.
So that there could be a little trouble in the home front there.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I want to put up a few other things here.
I like
my
Comedian's explanation, though.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
My first thought, according to Spinster, is my first thought. It is a bit wordy, and I'm not sure about the we part. Okay, and let's see here. Real quick, Jesse Robbins wants to know while I look up some more comments. Tom, do you have a LDS background? Were you raised LDS?
No.
Okay.
I've lived amongst them a lot.
Yeah, me too. I call myself an honorary Mormon. So, Eyes Miss Ola says, draws me in to know more. There's a positive. Sweet Susie says, not too sure about the title. Let's see.
Why?
Yeah, how come?
Yeah.
Let us know. Give us a good reason. So
I love the title.
I
do.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Rainy Days says we need to know how Lori was created.
Yeah.
So did I see somebody say that Hidden True Crime was in chat? I didn't see them.
Yeah, Lauren said she's not feeling well, but she's here.
Oh, Lauren, it's so good to see you, my dear. Well, again, if you want, I think I sent you the link. You're always welcome to jump up, but I know you're not feeling well. But I'm happy that you're here. I'm very, very happy. Okay, let's see here. Grandma LM says, I didn't create Lori. So there's one there.
I understand that, and that's not, so that takes the reading of the book to understand what I mean. And I don't want people to get the impression that I'm saying that she's our fault. Right? Like she did what she did on her own.
Right. Exactly.
But on the other hand, if you go way back in Mormon culture specifically, and in our whole country's culture, really, we keep producing these people. And maybe that's just human beings. Maybe it's not a cultural thing. Maybe it's just something inside of some people. I don't know.
Very good. Real quick, I want to welcome back Fisco 219. Been gone for a little bit. When did Trisha get a new place? I'm actually in the same place in a different room with just some bookshelves. Just created just a little different look, a little different atmosphere, if you will. Mel Stiller has a suggestion. How about the creation of a goddess? How about the creation of a goddess? There's an idea.
Lori would like that title better.
No, so no.
Yeah. There you go. I think we're going to get into this question. What is the left-hand reference? We'll get into that in just a little bit, okay? And let's see. And Mel Stiller says, Tom, your suggested title is much too long. You know, Tom, it kind of seems like it's leaning toward people aren't too thrilled with it. And see, if that were me, I'd be like, I'm doing it. You don't like it? I'm doing it. So there. It's a bit long here. And Suzanne Reiser says, and we have one big doodle. Gem is here. Good to see you. We love our gems. We do. Let's see.
I guess I should say that the second half of that is actually a subtitle.
Okay.
There's a lot of books that have that. I mean, like James Polar, Foreign Faction, and What's the Rest of Patricia? And it's long. Technically, to me, what Tom's saying isn't that long.
Exactly.
Yeah, the publishers nowadays want a title and a subtitle.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's very true. So anyway, Kiki210 says, I think it's interesting. A lot of people are saying, I want to know about the book first, and then I'll decide on the title. So that people are coming back with that. So, and again, welcome to all of our hidden gems here. And Hidden True Crime says, I'm sick, but listening to my friends. Aw, thank you. Thank you so much,
Hey,
Lauren. I'm so happy that you're here, and I'm sorry you're sick.
It's nice to know that, yeah.
That is nice, isn't it? Let's see. Okay, so let's talk about this new book. And I'll take this banner down. I don't want to upset your wife.
You want me to explain
yes.
your thinking on the title?
Yes, please do.
Okay, so when Jesus was crucified, he was crucified with two other people. Mm-hmm. And on his right hand, they were both thieves. And I forget their names now, but on his right hand, the thief was asking for forgiveness.
Okay.
And the thief on his left hand was indignant and not asking for forgiveness. He felt that he was in the right for being a thief or whatever. And so that's kind of where that comes from. Mm-hmm. There's a lot more to that story. It goes way deeper than that, but that's just a simple explanation.
Knowing that, my darlings, if anybody wants to change their thought on Tom's title, feel free to speak up in chat, and we'll kind of keep a running tab.
And for the subtitle, the How We Created a Lori Vallow Daybell, it's more about going back in history and describing how her thought process works and why, I guess is a way to say it.
I'm sorry, is it How We Created a Lori Vallow Daybell? Does it have A in it or no?
No, A. I think I said A, but it's How We Created Lori Vallow Daybell.
Okay, so that's a good explanation right there. So if somebody wants to weigh in on that, that would be great. But now I know you don't want to give away the whole book, obviously. How many pages is it, first of all?
Oh, I'm not sure. How many pages is it, Megan? 200 maybe?
Yeah.
You're muted.
Muted.
Megan.
It's 163.
Okay, good. And let's see. We had a request to show it again. On the left hand of Christ, How We Created Lori Vallow Daybell. Now, this book is the third in a trilogy. The first one was about Lori. The second one was about Chad, and both are excellent books. And well, I'm going to show them here in a little bit. But this third book, let's just say How We Created Lori Daybell. When you told me before we went on your theory, I was like cheering. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. So tell us what you can. And everybody, please, I hope you'll support Tom when the book is ready to be put up for sale. We will talk about it and put links up. And I hope you'll buy the book because I know it's going to be fascinating. So Tom, tell us about this book. It goes into more detail about Lori and Chad and how they came to be. So I'm sorry, go right ahead.
Right. So I go all the way back from the beginning to 1820 when Joseph Smith found the golden plates. That's where the book starts. Okay. And I go through Mormon history all the way up through Mountain Meadows Massacre and into the FLDS and more current times, all the way up to her trial. And, sitting in her trial, I was thinking to myself, this is so tied in with other things, even though they weren't members of the FLDS. I think they must have followed Warren Jeffs. They were aware of him and knew the things that he said. Chad even, I think, mimicked his voice. when he was giving blessings and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
But so my thought is that Lori is actually, when they met at the Preparing a People conference in when was that? 2018, 2019?
2018, wasn't it? Or 2017? I can't remember. Can you
When they
remember,
met in
Megan?
person was
Yeah.
2018.
2018. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, when they met there, Chad gave her the line about being married in a previous probation or whatever. And, your initial thought, or my initial thought about that, was that Lori fell for that line.
Cheesy line.
But what I really think happened was the opposite of that. I think Lori put herself in front of him on purpose, knowing she was going to get that line, and she drew him into her world, not the other way around.
Okay, I want to stop you right there.
Okay.
Everybody, did you hear that? Lori was the one that planned this. She knew she was going to get that line because she wanted Chad. So she threw Chad into her world, not the other way around, like most of us had thought it was. Okay, I just want to make sure everybody got that. Okay, go ahead, Tom.
And saying that, I'm not excusing Chad in any way. He's right where he needs to be right now on death row.
Right.
But he was duped. I remember when Emma was testifying in court saying that, I forget what her words were, but basically that Lori buried her kids in his backyard. And I don't know if she was insinuating that he didn't know anything about it. We know
Probably.
that's but I think she did bury her kids in his backyard for a purpose. And I think the purpose was to make him complicit, which he was, but to keep him quiet and keep him complicit. So, and I know that goes against, the psychologists that I've talked to. Everybody believes that Chad was really the one behind all this. He had the light and dark scale, all of that kind of stuff. But I believe that Lori was a murderer before she met Chad.
Let me ask you one question. Do you mean Lori literally helped bury her own kids in his backyard, or figuratively? Okay,
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so yes, so you feel that Lori was a murderer before she met Chad. Who do you believe she murdered?
Well, Joseph Ryan, I'm pretty sure she murdered.
Yeah, I think absolutely. Do you think there's anybody else?
There's other people. There's suspicious things. Her sister died under strange circumstances of strange diseases. There's been questionings, I think about Tylee and her supposed illnesses. I don't know if they were real or not, but I wonder if Lori maybe had been poisoning her. I wouldn't put that past her. And that's another thing that I've learned about Lori. I've come to believe that she's sadistic. I think she wanted to hurt her children. The way they were murdered was brutal. It wasn't just a quick, easy murder. They hurt those children.
Why do you think, what led you to believe that Lori is sadistic enough that she wanted her children to literally feel the pain and to be tortured, basically?
Mostly because of the way that they were murdered. For sure, Alex was that kind of person. He wanted to cause them pain. But I just think Lori's the one that kind of directed Alex. And, from the medical examiner's report on Tylee's remains and how JJ was murdered, it's just so brutal and horrible that it didn't have to be that way. If their idea was just to get them out of the way, it wouldn't have had to be done in those ways. There was more to it than that. So then the question is, was it Alex or was it Lori or was it both of them? Megan is probably in a lot better position to answer that than I am.
Well, in fact, somebody said, Megan looks like she has a lot to say. It's Lisa Foster. Megan looks like she has a lot to say. Megan?
She always does.
She does, and we love it when she talks. Megan, why don't you jump in here real quick?
Yeah, I mean, I think, Tom, you're on a really important line of thinking here. And I definitely have posited, I believe that Lori and Chad were communicating online long before they met in person. And I think the idea that Lori sought Chad out is spot on. And I think that, Lori was really good at collecting people who she knew would do certain parts of her bidding.
Yeah.
I think her mom played a role. I think her dad played a role. I think Summer played a role. I think everybody in her life who was willing to listen to anything she said played some kind of a role. Not that they necessarily were, knowledgeable that they were helping her accomplish her dark deeds, but that
Mm-hmm.
she used specific parts of specific people, and she would tell pieces of information to people so that no one person had the whole story.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that Chad was part of her collecting people that she could use. Alex was part of her collecting people she could use. So was Zulema. So was Melanie Gibb. Everybody who was in proximity to Lori got used by her in some way.
Exactly. I wish I knew more about her family life, her life growing up. And I've talked to you a lot about that. I've talked to other people, and there's only so much information that I can get. There's only so much that you know. And I
Yeah,
think in other cases, there's only so much people are willing to share.
that's
And I don't
very
blame
true.
them for that.
Yeah.
Well,
But
what
I would like to know what her relationship with her father was like. I'd love to know more about that.
what do you know about her childhood that makes you think this is how she is?
What do I know?
Yes. What makes you about her childhood? What makes you think that she turned into this literal sadistic killer? What do you think contributed to that?
Well, there were a lot of things in her childhood. Her baby sister died before she was born.
Mm-hmm.
Her older sister Stacy died, like I said, under suspicious or strange, I guess,
Right.
circumstances, kind of unexplainable illnesses. It was a very patriarchal family, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Um, very Mormon, but yet a little bit different kind of Mormon, I guess. Like mom would dress a little bit provocatively for church or whatever, right, Megan? Stuff like that. So it was interesting, but I just don't know a whole lot more than that. I would love to know more about Barry, her father, and her mother.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Nobody really wants to talk about that, and like I said, I can't blame them. It's not going to. It would help in a way, like it would help us understand how we created Lori Vallow Daybell, and I can go back and read all the Mormon history, and I can make come to conclusions based on that. Like the idea that prophets, speak directly to God. I think that's kind of the key to this whole thing.
Right.
Um, I can get all of that, and I can use that to explain how we created her. But
Mm-hmm.
her family life, Alex turned into a serial murderer, and he was kind of a strange dude. Um,
Yes.
and we know what Lori was like. We know that Stacy died strangely, and while the family was off in Hawaii and things like that. A lot of it just doesn't really add up. And I know there's a lot more to it. I just don't really know what it is.
Well, so this is again the third book in your trilogy. When you started to research this, you said you went all the way back to the 1800s. Was that your idea to end up finding out who really did what to whom and who controlled what? And you're not excusing either of them,
Right.
but you're saying that Lori was the one that was in control and Chad maybe was the little puppet when a lot of people thought it was the other way around. Is that a good way to describe it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so how did you come to that actual conclusion?
So it wasn't my idea to go all the way back
Okay.
to start with. It just, at some point, it had to come to that if I was going to explain it.
Okay.
Um, and what was the other question? Sorry.
Oh, I just said, how did you actually come to that conclusion? I mean, what made you think, oh my God, it was Lori. Lori planned this. Lori planned to meet Chad. Lori, made sure Chad flirted with her. It was all Lori directing this, like a director in a play, and these people were her puppets.
Sometimes you get so close to something, and the answer is right in front of you.
Hmm.
You just don't see it. And that's how it felt to me when I started to realize that, is like all these things kind of point to that. And I just wasn't seeing it. I guess I was just going along with the conventional thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
But then I realized, so it was her kids that were murdered. Chad's kids weren't murdered.
Right.
There's just a lot of things that kind of add up for me.
Mm-hmm.
How the kids were murdered, how she kind of pressured Chad when it came to Tammy. He wasn't getting around to it, and she was telling him, well, why don't you just go on with your life, and I'll go on with mine. I don't know what the exact words were, but it was kind of like that.
Megan, you know that, don't you? Don't you remember what she said to Chad? It was in a text. It was a
Yeah,
text thread.
she said something like, just very passive aggressive, like just go back and enjoy your family. You obviously it was the gist of it was you obviously don't care about being with me. Just go be with your family.
Yeah.
It's not obviously I'm not a direct quote. I'm paraphrasing.
But it was manipulative.
Very manipulative. Yes.
Very
Yeah.
manipulative. Yeah.
And that's what she does, and that kind of points to me toward her controlling Chad.
Mm-hmm.
Like she controlled everybody. I don't think Chad would have been in her life if she couldn't control him. She wasn't looking for somebody to control her. That's not how she operates. She needed people that she could control. And so I think she had, I don't know if she had murdering her kids in mind when she first met him. She might have.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know. I wish she would talk to me.
What have you tried to talk to her at all?
I have, yeah, several times, and I've not gotten any
No luck.
response.
Well, I think this is going to be absolutely fascinating. And Megan Connor, you're the one that you're close to. You're actually younger than Lori, right?
Just a year younger.
Yeah, but you guys grew up together. You're the same age. It's not like we've heard from Colby, and he's offered a great insight. But you've offered that insight that everybody did what Lori wanted. He was the one that controlled everything, where you went, what you did, and everybody was happy to do it. As long as Lori was happy, then everybody was happy. And I'm sure that helped you in your writing of this book, Tom, knowing how she was treated by her own family, by her parents while she was growing up, right?
I don't really know that much about how she was. I mean, I know some about how she was raised. Like I said, I know it was a really patriarchal family.
Right.
Father was forceful and domineering. Mother was kind of weak, I guess. And I don't think that I don't know how it was for her as a child, but I know that as an adult, she wasn't having any of that. She didn't believe in the whole patriarchy thing, or maybe she believed in it, but she wasn't in her to go along with it.
Can you see her sitting back and letting Chad tell her how to behave? Don't you talk, like he did Tammy. Don't you talk to my sister-in-law. She's evil, Heather Daybell. Don't you dare. Oh my God. To me, I envision Lori picking Chad up by the, nads and throwing him across the room. I mean, she would in no way put up with him doing that at all. And you're
Right.
absolutely right. Yes, Love and Coco, Megan does look 20. It's so unfair. So,
Yeah.
but that's
Just
very,
have the
very,
lights turned down.
is that it? I don't think so. You look funny.
One of the things that comes to mind as you guys are talking about this is one of the most eye-opening sections of testimony for me was during Chad's trial when they played this phone call that was between Lori and Chad. It was after Alex had passed away, and they were talking in code because they knew they were being listened to. And you could hear both of them trying to manipulate each other. It's fascinating to listen to because, Chad would sort of sheepishly put an idea out there and Lori would push back and say, okay, but don't you think this? And shouldn't we be doing that? And then she would laugh, her laugh as if she was not trying to manipulate him at all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to do a recap of that because that to me was one of the most fascinating things to listen to because I think Chad believed he was in charge, but he definitely was not.
Yeah,
Was
I
that
agree.
when when she was in jail?
Yes, she was in jail. He was out. It was just after Alex had died, or I guess, they knew Alex had died, long before she was arrested.
Right.
But, they were talking about Alex sort of like controlling things, being the architect or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And, Lori was really trying to put the screws to Chad to say, like, I'm the only one who's in prison over here.
Mm-hmm.
You're out free. What the hell are you doing, basically?
Exactly.
And I did not have the presence of mind at the time to really do it when it was happening. But, there were two things that I've revisited lately. And one was that recorded call, and the other was Emma Daybell's testimony and the body cam footage or whatever, the police car footage from when Chad was arrested.
Yeah.
And she was there with him. There was a lot of really eye-opening stuff. What stuck out to me this time around the most was Emma calling Chad very fundamental.
Mm-hmm.
And it what brought it to mind, actually, Tom, was when I was reading through your book and you were talking about the FLDS, and something rang a bell. And I was like, I think Emma described him as really, really fundamental. And that's how I see Warren Jeffs. If
Right.
you want to talk about fundamental Mormonism, Emma said in her testimony that Chad was mainly interested in the teachings of Joseph Smith and Brigham Young. That's
Mm-hmm.
polygamy. That's early Mormonism.
Right.
That's, the fundamental part of it is that.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. I do have that call. Now, I don't know if they have two phone calls on this video or not, but we can play about 10 minutes of it. Tom, would that be okay?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Because then we can see how Lori is manipulating Chad, because I don't want to play all 23 minutes of it. But this is the phone call where they're talking about blueprints and plans and things like that, correct? That's the same one, Megan?
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
that's the one I was talking about. Yeah.
Okay, let's play a little bit of this. Here we go. And then we're going to get back to the book that is in the final edit from Tom Evans. Here we go.
Okay. Yes. But he was asking what we talked about.
Now, I think they're talking to Alex, but Alex is dead. Is Megan that the correct context of this phone call?
Alex is dead, but Chad keeps referring to texting Alex.
Yes.
And I think they're talking in code because they probably don't want to say, Chad can communicate with dead people.
With the dead, right.
But that's really what he's saying.
Right. And that's how this phone call starts out. Here we go.
Oh, that's good. Usually it's hard to get a hold of him. He's busy.
Okay.
Days.
Yes. But he was asking what we'd talked about. He's very optimistic.
It was very optimistic for you, or he's very optimistic it could happen.
He's very optimistic for both of us.
He doesn't know his own project timeline.
He said stick with it. What he projected in that paper he wrote.
House renovations always take longer than they think.
That's the problem.
I've been watching that Extreme Pools, and the people are like 3 months out. When they estimated they'd have it done, and they're like, well, we had so many problems, we couldn't get to the backyard, we had to pull a crane over the house to get these huge rocks for the waterfall.
I can remember last summer, Taylor Hill Markstrand's parents moved into a trailer, like a camping trailer, in their driveway because they were going to build their house by the end of the year. Guess where they're still at?
Really?
They sold their house to their son. And it's just a weird situation, but you're exactly right. Yeah, it takes forever.
Yeah, there's always something. Well, we didn't know when we dug in your backyard we were going to find whatever. And then they're like, we have to redo all the piping, and then we had trouble with this, and then something else happened. So, but they try to make it sound like it wasn't really that long, but it's always like, it's going to take 3 months. And then 3 months after that, they're like, okay, it took 6 months. We couldn't come in your backyard at all. And now it's not summer anymore. Now it's winter, and your pool is finally done.
Right.
Mostly they do it. Well, So he's optimistic about his construction problem or construction
Problems.
not problems, but plan. His
Yeah.
construction plan. The blueprints are still intact.
Yes.
Their timing.
And I kind of just said, I texted him what you just said is, you guys are always a little off.
Right. Exactly. We just want a real estimate.
Right.
What do you say?
He just laughed.
So he did not confirm nor deny that fact. That contractors are always later than they think they're gonna be.
He's like, it'll work out, how he is. He did want me to say he misses you. But he's not far from, contact. We can talk. We can text him whenever he wants.
Yeah, I can't text anybody. Contact. Just text for me. That's like me telling you, I need you to tell this person and talk to this person.
I'll text him back. He's optimistic. I want to go visit him and grab him by the throat and say, really?
Can he? I know he's optimistic, but can he just make us any guarantees? I mean, we did make our down payments and everything else.
Guarantee.
I would like a guarantee, just an end date of our project.
Well, he knows you pretty well. He just laughs.
Does anyone know what they're talking about, how they've made their down payment?
That I was just going to say, I think that, to me, that makes me think of the people that are gone. But that's
the people that they've killed.
Yeah.
That's their down payment. Tom and Megan, that's a very good point. Do you agree with that, or is there something else there? I'm trying to figure this out.
Go, Megan.
I mean, I think of it as, whatever the grander plan is, which is their gathering of the 144,000, like they made their commitment. These people are gone so that they could be single and alone to fulfill their mission of gathering the 144,000. If you read Tom Harrison's awful book, Visions of Glory, when he was a gatherer, he was not married. His wife did not survive the calamities, and he had no children. He was unattached, and I think that was part of this.
Got it. Tom, your thoughts? And we'll go back and listen to a little bit more.
Yeah, I can't stand to listen to them both sit there and chuckle.
I know, they're laughing. I just want to smack them.
Yeah.
Ugh.
This points to their craziness.
I think part of that giggling, though, for Lori, absolutely 100%, I can say it is a way for her to soften how angry she is.
Mm.
She's mad she's behind bars.
Yes.
She shouldn't
She's
have been
angry
behind
that
bars.
she's stuck in jail and Chad is not in jail. And Chad makes that comment about, well, you can text him anytime. She's like, I can't text anybody, ha, 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 but I really want to strangle you right now.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Exactly.
You can hear it in her voice.
Even though she's trying to hide it. Okay, let's listen to a little bit more. And I'll put the link to this call in chat so you can listen to the whole thing if you want. Here we go.
No, I asked him what he thought of the video project. He said it was really nice. He loved it.
Oh, good.
Detective, through your investigation, were you aware of any type of video put out about Alex Cox around this time?
No.
Okay, that's from the trial. So we'll leave it at that. And here is the link to that phone call in chat if you want to listen to the rest of it. Now, we do have a question from chat from E.S. Thompson. Tom, were you able to interview additional people for this book?
For the third book specifically?
Yes. Yes.
I didn't do a lot of interviews for the third book. It was more going back in history. People are already dead. So,
Right. Okay. Let's see. Okay. MSP 22. What they're talking about is this phone call was done while Lori was in jail and Chad was out of jail, and they were talking to Alex, who's in heaven right now. And when Chad says he's texting him, he's talking about communicating with Alex even though he's dead. And Lori's like, well, did he say, what was it she said? Did he say when something good is going to happen? And she's all annoyed because she's in jail and Chad isn't. So this was during the trial that this phone call. And the reason why we played it was to show how manipulative Lori could be. And if you're just joining us, everybody, our guests tonight are Tom Evans. Tom Evans has a new book out. We don't know the title yet, but it is the third book in a trilogy of books about the Daybell trial. The first book was about Chad. The first book was about Lori. Second book was about Chad. And the third book is about how they came to be. And Tom has revealed that he believes, and what his research has given him to believe, that it was Lori that was the leader of this. Lori was the one controlling the puppet strings on what was happening, and that Lori was sick enough that she enjoyed the fact that her kids were killed with a lot of pain. She was just, I mean, I can't imagine what type of personality disorder she has. But so, well, I guess if you could give us just a little bit of how did you get from the beginning of going back so far in the LDS Church to Lori enjoying the fact that her kids died in a horrific amount of pain? And how did this create Lori? And I know I guess I'm asking you to tell us the whole book in 3 sentences. But
that's what I was just going to say.
yeah.
You kind of have to read the book to get there.
Right.
But
can you just give us maybe a little bit more of a, direction here?
Yeah. So starting with the idea that people can have God actually speak through them. And that's why I go through Mountain Meadows, because a lot of the excuses given by people who were involved in that were that, hey, this person that is my, the major in my militia or whatever, has a higher standing with God than I do. And he gave me the directive to murder these people in cold blood. So I did it. And they thought that excused them. That kind of is exactly, how Chad and Lori operate, what the kind of things that they think and what they would say.
Right. And so that, again, the excuse that God told our leader, or God was speaking to our leader, and that's why we did it, gives them an excuse to do these horrific things, is basically it. And your wife, Susan, said you did meet new people in Arizona during the trials.
Yeah, I thought about that after I answered that question. I did.
And how did that help you?
Just get a little bit more understanding, I guess. So I went to every day of her first trial in Arizona. The second trial I couldn't go to, so I've watched it on court TV. But I did go back. Susan and I both went back for the sentencing, and it was a really quick trip. We flew in one day, flew out the next day after the sentencing. But we got the opportunity. We were invited to go to a family gathering afterwards. And so I got to meet and talk to Brandon Boudreau for the first time. I got to talk to Trina Kay, which was really interesting. My impression of her started out to be like she's just too harsh and stark, but it went from that to she's warm, interested, and she did a great job, I thought, in the trial. Who else did I talk to? JJ.
Mike Watkiss, we met him there, right?
Yes, thank you. Yes, Mike Watkiss.
Now, who's Mike Watkiss?
So yeah, exactly. That's what I thought when I first met him. I thought, I know this guy as somebody, but who is he?
I recognize the name.
Yeah, it turns out, so he was like the guy on, I don't know if you remember the show A Current Affair. Is
Oh,
back
yes.
in
Okay. Right.
He
Right.
is that guy.
Okay.
But more importantly, he's followed this FLDS thing throughout its history. He even got a medal from the FBI. I'm not exactly clear on all that, but got some kind of award from the FBI for his investigating, helping them in going after Warren Jeffs and guys like Sam Bateman.
Got
Um,
it.
so he's a really knowledgeable, interesting guy. And I didn't get to talk to him as much as I would have liked to, but
Hmm.
I did get to have several conversations with him while we were waiting to go into court. Once I got to know who he was and what he was interested in,
Right.
I picked his brains as much as I could. But he was real instrumental in all of that stuff. So when it comes to the FLDS,
How much of an influence of the FLDS do you think Chad and Lori took from? I mean, how influenced by the FLDS were Chad and Lori?
I don't know about the FLDS in particular, but that kind of thinking, the same kind of thinking, I think is their kind of thinking. And
Mm.
like I said earlier, I think in Chad's blessings, he mimics Warren Jeff's voice. So I have a suspicion that they were following him and
Mhm.
interested in him also, and maybe getting a lot of their beliefs through him. They
Got it.
weren't members of the FLDS, but maybe they were kind of leaning that way. I don't know.
If anybody has any questions for author Tom Evans, please put them in chat and put a bunch of question marks. So I'll be able to see them. Okay, so it's in the final edit. Do you have any idea when it will be ready?
It's hard to say. Honestly, I've been really hoping to get an actual publisher, like a big publisher for this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a really hard, almost impossible process nowadays.
It
So
is. It's
I've been
difficult.
holding out for that, and if that doesn't happen, I'm going to self-publish. If I do that, it could be like a month from now. It could be pretty quickly.
Well, we'll help you in any way we can. But I want to talk more about the book. You started out by writing about Lori. That was the first trial because you were one of the jurors. You did not deliberate. You got that number pulled. That was your number, so you had to sit out. You were an alternate. You could have maybe, if another juror had gotten sick or something, you could have been put in there. But you got to be there for the whole thing. And why did you decide to write that book? And when you decided, did you know it was going to be a trilogy?
I did not. I had planned to write one book at that
Mm-hmm.
time, but there were a few reasons that I wanted to write that book. One of them was, we had just gone through COVID and all of that, and we've seen all this stuff on the news, all this horrific stuff happening, and defund the police, and just all these negative things going on in our country.
Right.
And I went into this trial not wanting to be there, thinking, oh, I didn't know anything about it. I kind of had a hunch who she was, but I had it confused with a different case. I guess I was one of the few, and that's how I ended up on the jury. But I didn't want to be there. I didn't want any part of it. And once it got going, I realized what it was about. I'm thinking, I really don't want to be there. But by the time that trial was over, I was so impressed with the law enforcement that was involved, the Rexburg police and the FBI, everybody who was involved with
Mm-hmm.
that, prosecution, the court system in Idaho. So it went from just feeling down about being there to actually being very proud of doing my small part
Right.
in that trial. So I wanted to tell that story. It was that, and it was, the beginnings of trying to understand Lori. I don't think I realized it at the time, but I did have that question in my mind. I just didn't realize how hard it was going to answer, of how
It's
she
tough.
could be just perfectly okay with murdering her own children.
And this is a great question from Jewel Gazer. Who do you think came up with the method of how to murder the children? Now, let's remember, Tylee was, just brutalized. And I pray that she was not alive when that happened, but we don't know. She had injuries in her pelvic region. She was chopped up and burned. And JJ was horrific as well, but he didn't go through all of that. He was taped up. He wasn't chopped, he wasn't burned, but he did suffocate. both horrific ways to die. Good question. Who came up with this idea, do you think?
It is a good question. I would really like to know definitively the answer to that question. I'm pretty sure Alex did the actual murdering, so obviously he was a brutal, sadistic killer. But was he maybe directed by Laurie? I don't think it was Chad. I don't even. I have this vision in my mind. In that house, there was a window that overlooked the backyard. I
Yes.
have this vision in my mind of Chad sitting there in the dark, looking out over.
Drinking a Diet Coke or something and
Yeah.
looking at his work.
Yeah.
Like an artiste.
It's really too horrible to even contemplate.
Is
honestly,
absolutely sickening.
But it's a really good question.
It is.
Is one of those people, was Laurie, Chad, or Alex, is just one of them that horrible, or are they all that horrible, or are two of them that horrible?
Right.
I'm leaning toward Laurie and Alex both being that horrible.
And some people think that JJ was a ritualistic type killing. And I'm going to get to your question here in just a moment, Crystal Trickle, okay?
Well, JJ, so there's a belief that if you have ADHD or anything like that, that you have a higher standing. And
in the LDS Church, you mean?
Well, I don't know if it's in the LDS Church. It's just,
or just a higher standing in heaven.
Yeah, so he wouldn't have to go through the trials and tribulations, because I think part of the reason that the murders were so brutal was because you have to suffer to get to heaven. And they weren't going to have to live through the whole second coming of Christ and the floods and the plagues and all that stuff. So I guess Laurie did that for them. But in the case of JJ, because he had ADHD, he didn't have to go through all that. I don't know. It's just something that I read somewhere along the way. There's that idea. I don't know if that's why.
Do you mean autism, Tom?
Autism. Yeah, I'm sorry. Thank you, Megan. Again.
Yeah.
She keeps me straight all the time.
Yeah.
That's everybody needs a Megan. Go ahead, Stacey. I'm sorry.
That's really interesting. For now, this is completely different than other cases I've studied, but in some of them I have researched when it comes to. So Tylee was first, and I had thought, my thought was, because we do not know how she died, that they were trying to dispose of her, and burn her. So that's why they were trying to cut her up and things like that. And then realize, hey, it's not as easy as we thought. So they didn't want to try it the second time.
Right. And the medical examiner, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but the medical examiner testified that it's really hard to burn a body.
Yep.
They wouldn't have known that. I wouldn't have known that either.
Oh yeah.
Stacey, were you done, my dear?
Yeah.
Okay. I do want to get to this question from Crystal. Tom, do you remember when you felt Laurie was guilty?
Yeah, it didn't really take long. I can't remember a specific time. There wasn't. It was more of an accumulation of evidence, I think, that a couple of weeks into the trial, I think I was starting to feel like, because I was honestly giving her the benefit of the doubt, like you're supposed to. That's kind of hard to do emotionally when you're looking at that, but you have to put your mindset in a way that is, if the police, I honestly thought the trial, this is off track, but I thought the trial in Arizona could have gone the other way.
I did too. I thought, especially with the second one, not so much. Well, yeah, with both of them actually. Yeah. I thought both of them could. Absolutely.
I was very convinced by the testimony I was hearing in Laurie's trial as a juror. I think if I had been a juror in Arizona, I would have been less convinced. And I think if Laurie had a good attorney, they could have shown the police maybe were a little incompetent or not thorough enough, and put some doubt in some jurors' minds. There were some opportunities to do that. And,
she had a really stupid attorney, unfortunately, for her. So we do have a question for Megan, and that is, I know you said Laurie thought running over the animal was hilarious. Did the family grow up hunting or anything, or was she just born sadistic? That's from Jesse Roblin.
As far as I know, there was not a hunting practice in the Cox family. I think that Lori just has an utter disregard for life in general, but also I think she is sadistic. She enjoyed watching people suffer. She enjoyed making fun of people. You know, she was just, I mean, it's the definition of sadism. She derived enjoyment out of seeing other people suffer.
Sick. And I want to bring up this point that Four Sons' mom brought up. Says, I have a similar picture in my mind of Tammy standing in front of the window doing dishes, not realizing those two babies were in her backyard. And I think Chad and Lori enjoyed that thought, knowing that Tammy didn't know. And she'd look out onto this, vast yard, not knowing that there were two dead children there. I think they enjoyed that for some reason.
Yeah.
And it's sickening, absolutely sickening.
Sitting there watching her in person in 2 trials, it's kind of made me realize that she does enjoy that. She likes causing pain. She enjoyed having witnesses on the stand who she hurt. She got something out of that.
That's just sick.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you an impossible question to answer, but that's never stopped me before. Do you think if Chad had never met Lori, that all these people would still be alive?
I do, yeah. I don't think he was a murderer at heart. He was obviously capable of murder, and he wasn't above it. But I don't think he had planned to murder anybody until she came along.
Yeah, I think he was, using his books to try and pick up women. I believe that. I think he always wanted the cheerleader. And when he saw Lori, he was just like, damn, here it is. I have my blonde cheerleader that I wanted to get in high school. And I asked you this before, but I want to ask it publicly. Do you think that Chad asked Tammy to be a polygamist and to bring another woman into their marriage?
Megan might be able to answer that better, but I do. I think he probably was pushing her in that direction, trying to, and I don't think she was having any of it. And I think that was causing problems between them. But
Megan? Oh, I'm sorry. Were you done, Tom? I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, I don't know that for sure.
Megan, what do you think?
Well, we can always speculate. Obviously, we don't know for sure. I think it's a good possibility that maybe he tried to introduce polygamy to Tammy, but he's also so incredibly passive that I don't really see him having that conversation with her. And I think it's one of the reasons why he kept telling people that she was going to die young.
Yes.
Is that it seemed like he was going to find a way to make sure that she died young. And I don't think that I definitely don't think that Charles survives, even if Lori never meets Chad, because we have Alex attacked Joe Ryan. That was his intent, to kill him.
Right.
And once Lori put the idea in Alex's head that Charles was abusing her, or that she was, that he was hurting Tylee in some way, Alex was going to do what Alex was going to do. And that's why I think the answer to the question of who came up with, how the manner of death, I think it was probably a combination between Alex and Lori. I think Alex probably had some harebrained idea, and Lori probably said something like, "Are you sure? Have you thought that through? What do you, how do you think that's going to go?" And I do think that there was a pivot. I think that they didn't realize what a big job it was going to be with Tylee, and so they changed their tactic with JJ.
Made
and they
it a lot
changed it
easier.
again with Tammy. So I don't know. I personally think the answer to the question of did we lose all of these people if Lori never met Chad? Well, I think we at least lost Charles. I don't think Charles would have survived. But I don't know about the kids, to be honest with you.
Right. And like Just Call Me Kim P says, he said Tammy was going to die young for years, so I disagree. But when he said that, was he just thinking, if I say it enough and pray enough, I have enough power, she'll die?
Yeah.
Was he thinking like that, or was he going to kill her? I don't know. But I agree with you. In Rainy Days does too, that I think Charles would have been a goner no matter what. But I mean, what do you think about that? Since he was talking about always killing, or not killing, that Tammy was always going to die young. Tom,
Yeah,
what say you?
it's possible.
Mhm.
It's hard to know for sure if he meant it. He was actually going to kill her, or that if he was just hoping that she would die.
Right.
I can't say for sure.
It's so hard. And Megan, what do you think?
I don't know. That's a hard question. I do. There is something wrong with a person who goes around telling people that their spouse is going to die
Right.
young. You know, it's like planting this seed of like, well, she's going to die young anyway. So does that mean they get divorced? Does that mean he's open to affairs? Does that, I think he was just trying to open the door for something to happen. And I don't think he really knew what. I don't think Chad is the brightest bulb on the tree. In fact, I think he's not very smart at all. And I think he's very easily led. And
Yes.
so I think he just had this idea that he wanted to be with somebody different. He longed for a life that was more special and important than the one he had.
Mhm.
He knew how dull his life was.
Oh,
And
yes.
his writing his books, he's not a good author, but his books were a way for him to make himself seem more special and important than he was. I think his letters to Chad right now are the same exact thing.
Mhm.
He's trying to make himself more relevant than he is. Nobody actually cares or wants to read his letters,
Right.
but he wants to believe that he still has some relevance in the spiritual space. So I think that there probably was some kind of an idea in his head of like, there's got to be more than just this mundane life. And maybe if Tammy dies young, then, I can play the widower and have lots of sympathy.
Mhm.
Or maybe if people know she's going to die young, they'll be willing to be with me. I don't know. I think it was the seed of an idea which never would have come to fruition if somebody else hadn't come along to help him along with it. And I think initially he believed that was going to be Julie Rowe.
You're probably right. Julie Rowe is another author. She believes has these crazy, crazy thoughts, and we could do a whole, 25-hour show on Julie Rowe.
I wish I
But
could get into Chad's head. I wish I could get into any of their heads and know answers for sure.
I wish too, because I think it's very important that we learn why. I think that's extremely important. But you're right, Megan. Chad was dull. Chad was a potato. He was a slug. He was just a big brown potato sitting there with, just flab. And he was a slug that just slid along at a slow pace and left a trail of slime with the stupid stories. I despise that man. But I don't think he had the wherewithal to think up a murder situation. I think it took Alex and Lori coming in, and that's what kicked it in. But I agree with everybody that, yeah, I think Charles, she absolutely would have killed him because I think she killed Joe Ryan. And it just, I'd forgotten about Lori laughing about that animal. That's just, Megan, can you briefly tell that story again?
Yeah, it was when Lori was either 16, I think she was 16 or 17, I was 15 or 16, and we went out on a double date with her boyfriend and her boyfriend's friend and a couple of other of the guy's friends. We were out at the golf course, which was across the street from their house
Mhm.
after hours. And, on our way home, we were in this Jeep, and I think her boyfriend was driving, and they were kind of, swerving around the streets, kind of joyriding, trying to be obnoxious. And at
Mhm.
one point, they saw a cat start to run across the road, and the driver intentionally swerved so that he could hit the cat.
That makes me sick.
And just barely tapped the brakes to turn around and look and see, confirming that the animal wasn't moving. And
Mhm.
everybody else, including Lori in the Jeep, they were just laughing hysterically. They thought it was hilarious.
Oh God, I would be so devastated. Oh my God.
I'm devastated right now.
I know, just thinking about it.
I had to really bite back the tears. I was really upset, but I was looking around and everybody else was laughing. And so I thought there was something wrong with me
Mm-hmm.
to be horrified by that. And I knew that if I cried that Lori would
Make fun of
would
you.
shame me for that and make fun of me. So
Exactly.
I tried really hard not to. So yeah.
Oh my God.
John Smith says, has Tom ever asked to interview Chad in prison?
Yeah, so I have, and I thought I had an in for that. I thought I was going to get an interview, but it's kind of petered out. So to this point, I have not been able to, but I would love to.
Even though you've written the books now, are you still going to try to talk to him? I would if I were you.
Yeah,
I'd keep
absolutely.
trying. You
Yeah,
know? So
I would love to.
yeah, we would love you too. And then you got to come back and tell us what the hell this
I'll
lunatic
do that much.
said.
I won't write about it though.
Yep, perfect. And this is from is this Lena? Lena HP says, how deep into this was Emma? Any thoughts? I want to ask both of you, Tom. Emma, the daughter, the dutiful daughter, who I believe is doing the letters from Chad on Facebook for him and doing his website. How deep was Emma into this, do you think?
That's another really good question. And, so sitting there listening to her talk to Chad when they were literally exhuming JJ's body and having her and Chad laugh and carry on the way they were, that went on for about a half an hour. She just doesn't seem to have a grasp on reality. And she seems to believe in her father, even though, he's been convicted and put on death row. So I'm not sure what to think of her. I think pretty ignorant, maybe. I don't like to say things like that about people, but she came off to me as not very worldly, pretty small mindset, and believing in her father for those reasons.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And delusional, like Marilyn Landis says. Megan, what are your thoughts on Emma?
I think all of the Daybell kids were brainwashed by their dad. And I think Emma, being the oldest daughter, there's a special bond between dads and daughters, especially in late adolescence and early adulthood. And there's like this need to prove oneself and to, earn dad's love. And I think Emma knew that the way to do that was to cling to what he taught and what he believed. Again, just going back and listening to her testimony in Chad's trial, where she vigorously defends her father and she dismisses the concerns of her mother's death. It takes an extreme amount of psychological pressure for a daughter to separate herself from her mother that way. And so I think that, I don't think that Emma had anything to do with any of these plots, but I think that she remains willfully ignorant of her dad's role in all of this.
Yeah, hold on, guys, just 1 second here. Let me do something really quickly. And then I'm going to put the, the title up again and see what you all think. So hang on just 1 second. I just need to do one quick thing here. For some reason, it says subtitles are not available for this. So I don't know why. I was going to turn on the CC, but I can't. It won't let me. It's grayed out. So I don't. Do you know, Megan? Do you have any idea how to fix that? You know everything about YouTube.
I do not know everything about YouTube, but if it's grayed out, it usually means that they're just not available.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know why that is. Okay. I'm going to get the possible title of Tom Evans' third book, the trilogy in the Lori and Chad Vallow Daybell murder saga here. And let me grab it really quickly. And nope, that's not it. Here we go. Oh, I think I've already got it. Hang on. What am I doing here?
So while she's working on that, Megan, how do you feel about Melanie Boudreau?
I have a lot of difficult feelings about Melanie. I think that I wanted to believe that she just was kind of under Lori's spell. That's kind of what I believed throughout Lori's trial. But it became very clear to me during Chad's trial that she was elbow deep in this and that she was an all in believer. I don't know how much of it she still believes, but it it gives me a lot of concern all the time to think about her sharing custody with Brandon and to think about Brandon and his family still having to deal with her. Her actions were very concerning, and I think, worthy of an indictment, but it's not my, call to make on that,
That's what I was going to ask you
obviously.
next is why do you think she hasn't been charged in Arizona? I mean, she had every bit as much motive as Lori did, more, to kill Brandon. And she was in contact with them. It seems like.
Yeah, and I believe that she 100% helped set up that entire situation. I believe she was materially involved.
I do too.
I just always have to keep reminding myself, though, that the prosecutors are always going to tend towards likelihood of conviction. And if they don't have the evidence, if they can't convince a jury, they're not going to send it, they're not going to press charges.
Yeah.
They like to have a good record. And I greatly appreciate the job that Trina Kay did with both of the Arizona trials. I respect her professionalism. I respect her judgment. And I also think that, she has a career to think about too. So she's not going to prosecute Melanie unless she believes she can get a conviction. So
Well,
it's possible they're still, collecting evidence. It's possible, they have all the way up until October. So my hope is that there will still be charges at some point.
yeah, Trina Kay brought her up continually in Lori's trial in Arizona,
Yes,
which gave me
she
some
did.
hope. And then I had the
Yeah.
opportunity to ask her, and she wouldn't answer, so that gave me a little bit of hope.
Yeah. And then when we were at CrimeCon, somebody asked Ray Hermosillo the same question. And he said, "It's not over for me." I think I shared this with you. And the crowd went wild cheering. And so I think there's still hope to be had in that vein.
Exactly. I agree with all of that. Everybody, we have our guest tonight, Tom Evans. He has written the third book about the Chad and Lori Daybell whole possible cult that is going on. And in his third book, he goes deep. He goes way back into Mormonism, all the way up to current day. And he's looking for a title. And the title he's come up with is this is not solid, but I'd like now because we have a lot more people in chat now than we did in the beginning. So take a look at this title. Okay, this is the third in the series. This is about Chad and Lori and how they came together and how Lori is basically the puppeteer in this whole case. Doesn't excuse Chad. Chad is guilty as hell, but it was Lori that was the sick psycho that was kind of putting this whole thing together. Lori and Alex. The title, On the Left Hand of Christ, How We Created Lori Vallow Daybell. Let us know in chat what you think. And right now I want to ask a question that Tangle Cords has asked, that a lot of people have asked. And I'll answer it after Megan and Tom have answered it. Do you think Lori and Alex had an intimate relationship?
Megan would know better.
Actually, I wouldn't. I've often talked about, the inappropriate way in which all of the Cox kids interacted with each other physically, as well as joking with each other about inappropriate things. I had my suspicions always about, Lori and Alex and their weird behavior. But, John Glatt wrote a book about Lori's life in which he interviewed one of Lori's friends from high school growing up. And that friend recounted a story where, she came into Lori's bedroom. Lori was on the floor crying. And she said, "My brother wants to have sex with me and I don't know what to do with it. I don't know what to do about it."
God, I didn't know that.
The friend, they just sort of commiserated together. She didn't know what to say to Lori, and Lori never mentioned it again. I don't think those kinds of things get invented by people. I just don't think that there's a lot of coincidence to that. We know that Alex has, some sexual deviancy in his history, sexual tourism and things like that. So it would not surprise me at all if there was some kind of sexual trauma in Lori's childhood, although I don't know exactly the details behind it, but I've heard so many family stories that we cannot ignore. But as far as concrete evidence of that, I don't have it. And so therefore I cannot say equivocally. We just all, we all have these little ideas that we have. And, we're going to come to the conclusion we're going to come to. The most likely conclusion is the most likely conclusion.
Exactly. And I apologize. I introduced Tom, and I forgot to introduce Megan Connor of Third_Verse. And we've been putting Megan's YouTube channel in our chat. I apologize, Megan.
It's okay.
It's like you're our other co-host,
Yeah.
You're,
Just
we love-
normal. She's here. Yeah.
yeah, she's just it's normal. Tom, do you want to comment on that?
On Megan?
No, well, not on me. Well, you can say whatever if you want to comment on Megan.
Say
great.
whatever you want. I'll go away for a minute if you want.
But,
No, don't go away. I love Megan. She's been
She's the best.
so helpful and a good friend. We spent a lot of time together, and I miss being able to hang out. I know Susan feels the same way.
Me
And-
too. I do.
Megan
what
has
do
a
you-
way of setting me straight when I make mistakes, like ADHD and autism. I just do that without even thinking. So
She's like I said, everybody needs a Megan in their life. So, okay. So, what do you think? There's a possibility of an inappropriate relationship between
yeah,
Lori and Alex.
no concrete proof either, obviously, but yeah, I mean, everything points to that. The more you think about it and delve into it, the more that has to be true.
That would explain a lot, actually.
It would explain a lot, and the same with Megan's father, Barry. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying that he did. I don't know. I just think it's very
I
possible.
mean, with Lori's.
That would be
with
Lori's dad.
Yeah, Lori's dad, not Megan's dad.
What did I
Lori's
say?
dad.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
that's
Megan.
okay. No, that's okay. No, Barry. And that was one of the questions. Yeah. I mean, again, we're not accusing him. He's
Right.
still alive, but it certainly would explain a lot of Lori's behavior.
Yeah.
I've told this story before, but again, I'm an old bat. I get to repeat myself. I didn't know, but I had spoken with Alex's first wife, and a lot of people didn't know he had a first wife, and he had been trying to get the Idaho police to call her back because she had information that would help, and it was Alex was very inappropriate with Lori, and she felt that there was something very inappropriate going on. Now, they divorced and they were friends, and they would still go out. There'd be Lori, Alex, and a bunch of people. They go out together, and she finally put an end to that because Alex was so inappropriate with Lori that it made her uncomfortable. She said she was driving once, and Lori and Alex were in the back seat, and Lori is in Alex's lap, like with her arms around his neck. And she just said, I couldn't take it anymore. And she couldn't get the police to call her back. And I told her, I said, just keep calling. I said, they probably have thousands of tips, and they finally did. So that was good. Okay, everybody, what do you think about this title, On the Left Hand of Christ, How We Created Lori Vallow Daybell? Yes or no, you like it? I don't like it. Again, we have a lot of new people in chat. And everybody, if you could please hit the like, the thumbs up, that would be great. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please do so. It's absolutely free, and we would love it if you would subscribe. And if you have subscribed, I ask that you check to make sure that you are still subscribed, because we've been getting complaints that all of a sudden people have found themselves unsubscribed to this channel for some reason. So if you could just double check that subscription, that would be wonderful. Okay, now, y'all, what do you think about this? Anybody say anything here? Let's see. They're still in shock about the Alex Lori information. You like this title? We got to decide, people. We need to help Tom. Let's add a little flavor to this. Tom's wife has come into chat and said that she does not like it. So there's tension at home. So hey, this is going to be a great reality show here, people. Great reality show.
Now it has to be the title.
Yeah, yeah. Since the wife doesn't like it, that's it. It's done. Okay. Tisday says, I like the title. It's very deep. SB Mama 44 says, whatever you title it, we'll buy it. Good. Good.
There you go.
Lindy 2 says, maybe how Lori Vallow Daybell was created. Let's see.
I wanted to cause people to think about it without offending them is the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. Is it offensive in any way? Let's see. Yeah, this is a good question because I think we've kind of answered that. But if this person, MP Now 512, came in late, they may not know. Who's the we in the title?
That's a good question. It's all of us. Society, I guess I would say.
Yeah. You
Right.
say society. And Lori was part of the society.
Exactly. Oh, and Tom's wife, Susan, here we go, says, I do understand it. So that's good. And Susan is wonderful, by the way. We love Susan.
I think
Miss you, Susan.
I think Susan's problem with it is that she doesn't like the idea of price name being any way associated with this. And I understand that.
Mm-hmm. No, I understand that too. Jesse Roblin says, I love the deeper meaning behind it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see here.
Yeah, I think there are so many people suggesting the creation of Lori or how society created Lori, and that really does take the sting out of it. It's the we is a hard thing to confront.
It's like what do you mean? I didn't do this. Right. That's what people will say. We
need to though look at it that way, and look at.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, at what's going on, and what kind of behaviors in our own family do we enable?
Exactly, and
ignore. And
how do we let cute blonde girls get away with things and excuse them and let them?
That's an easy one.
Well, yeah. For guys, that's easy, but it's true. It's true.
I've said so many times throughout this entire, I have to call it now, Inglorious saga, that we all know somebody like Lori. We do. We all know somebody who is manipulative like that. We all know somebody who lies to get their way. And so in a way, there is a we involved there, because when we know someone who's manipulative like that, they may not turn into a serial killer, but they still do a lot of damage. They do social damage. They do damage to their families. And when we just give people like that a pass, we're kind of contributing to the problem by not calling out that kind of manipulative behavior. And so that's where I see in this title, we all have to examine the people in our lives that have similar characteristics, and what are we doing to hold those people accountable? Because I really believe if at any point Lori and Alex had people hold them accountable, I think we'd be in a very different place.
Absolutely. And they never did, especially their parents. They just, like you've shown us, Megan, Lori was the golden child and nobody ever stood up to her. First of all, can you guys hear my dog snoring? I hope you can't. It's so loud. And can you guys hear? Okay, good.
I can't hear anything anyway.
Okay, good, because it's making me a nervous wreck. So if you guys can't hear it, then that's fine. So anyway, let's see.
And there are people in chat saying you can't stop people from being manipulative. That's definitely true. You can't. You can't change anybody else. But when you recognize the tactics of manipulation and control, you can hold them accountable, and you can refuse to engage with them. You can refuse to allow them to manipulate you.
Exactly.
And so, I mean, it's a hard question. It's one that all of us kind of have to answer in our own way, I think.
Yep. Absolutely. And Crystal Trickle says, how do you guys think that you fix the people like this? Cut them off or what? Boy, that's a bazillion-dollar question. I don't even know where to begin to answer that.
It would depend on that specific person too.
Right. So what do you do? What do you do if you see parents creating a child like Lori Daybell? Do you step in? I don't have an answer. Megan, you know everything. I go
I
to you for
don't
everything.
I don't know everything. I
I
definitely don't. I'm no kind of expert in anything.
well, you know a lot
Um,
more than us, so let's put it
but
that way.
you can't fix people like that. You can't. And I think the only thing we really can do is educate ourselves about how these type of people operate.
Yes.
And, the education is going to allow you to apply those that knowledge to whatever your particular situation is. And it's different for every situation, for every person, because they're all so different with all these different characteristics and everything. There isn't just a blanket way that you can say, oh, this is how you fix it. It's not an easy fix. It's
Right.
complicated, but I think education is the beginning of it. We have to learn how these people operate and why. And I think that's
Mm-hmm.
what I like about Tom's title and about the book itself too. It's like we have to go back and do these deep dives and figure out, where did this start? Where did it come from? And how do we prevent it from continuing? I think that the only person that you can really change is yourself. And
Exactly.
so if you can educate yourself and do your own healing work, then that's the only thing that you can do to make these situations better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Tom's wife, Susan, says, I think Tom's point is it needs to be recognized as a deeper societal problem.
Well, and
And I agree.
to Megan's point, educating ourselves, we get so much misinformation nowadays.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'll give you a little bit of an example. Um, back when the raid happened in Texas on the Yearning for Zion Ranch,
Mm-hmm.
and they took the kids away from the parents and out of danger. And so Oprah Winfrey had been reporting on life there.
Mm-hmm.
And, she was probably the most watched person on TV during that time. And her reporting showed it to be kind of an idyllic life, something that we don't relate to.
Right.
But, it didn't show all the horror and the bad things going on. The people living on that ranch were the worst of the FLDS.
Mm-hmm.
And so her reporting wasn't thorough at the very least. And
Right.
people watch that and they go, oh,
It's
these
not
kids
that
are like
bad.
the Amish. They're trying to live their lives there and the government's stepping in.
Yeah.
Right.
And that just was not true. So it's hard because there's so much misinformation we're fed every day.
Exactly.
We have,
Absolutely right.
we have to be better than that. We have to
Yeah.
dig deeper than that.
Yeah. And
Stacy?
also, what we see this, and I'm going to relate this to cases of child abuse where children are being abused. There are signs, people ignore them or don't realize that they're signs of abuse. So if you educate yourself and this sort of thing, like, how manipulative people can be, and exactly what Megan and them are saying, it can help you protect others as well. We need to look at
That's a
ourselves.
great point. Right.
And so when you hear that, it can be like, we created him. Well, I didn't do that, but no, think, what do we do in our lives that could contribute to the problem?
Right.
What things should maybe we do differently?
And
Exactly.
it's such an ongoing and continual problem. There are kids being enslaved, raped, everything. It's going on. The
Scary.
Alan and Rachel Fisher kids were kidnapped, and
Right.
nobody's even talking about that anymore.
I know. It's exactly.
We know who kidnapped them. We know why.
Yeah,
We're
but
not doing anything
we
about
don't hear about them anymore.
Yeah,
We don't. It's
that's very
terrifying.
frustrating to me that we're just sitting back and letting this go on. A lot of it because we don't know what's going on.
Yeah, because law enforcement has to. This is one of my pet peeves. They've got to release a little bit more. They hold so much close to the chest, and I get why. But if they could just put out a little bit here and there to pique the interest, to get people talking again. But that's just me.
And
I
if
do have.
if the media would follow up
It's in the media, exactly. I do have another title for your book, and I think this is it. Okay, it's by Mary. That's it, Shout, and get this is perfect. How about Are You Done Yet? Subtitle: How Society Created LTD. That would be perfect. Yeah.
I have to say, I love Judge Boreski.
Oh, was he the best? He was the best.
I was so impressed with Judge Boyce in Idaho. I never thought that I would be that impressed with the judge in Arizona, but he was great.
He was the best. And I hope that Melanie Pulowski is charged, and I hope they get that judge again. He probably is dreading that. In fact, I think he's in. He's not even in that criminal court anymore. But yeah, I absolutely love him. So, does anybody have any final questions? We've kept them here. We're going on hour and 45 minutes. So I want to get Tom and back to Susan. And again, thank you, Susan, for coming and chat. We love it when you come here. And of course, we love Tom. And so we think, Tom, that the book will be done when, and you're looking for a publisher.
Yeah,
So,
it's being edited right now. Working on the cover. Nothing happens as fast as I want it to happen. I'm
right.
going to say probably should be available in about a month.
Okay. Very, very good. Quick thought. Somebody in chat just posted, let's see if I can find it. Go Green says, I think Brandon doesn't want Melanie prosecuted. Megan Connor, what do you think? Do you think that's true?
I think it's a possibility. You know, the Mormon concept of forgiveness is it's pretty all encompassing. It really just is about forgive and forget, and it can be harmful sometimes. But there's also a concept that mercy can't rob justice. So honestly, whether or not Brandon wants Melanie prosecuted, I don't know, but he doesn't get to say.
Right.
Absolutely. Tom, your thoughts?
I hadn't really thought about that. I wish I would have asked him that question. That's my thought.
Yeah.
If I had the opportunity. I just would have assumed that he would.
And you know, maybe he goes back and forth.
Well, he
Because he
talked
doesn't.
about how the effect on his life and his family's life.
Right.
They lived in fear. Maybe they're still living in fear somewhat.
If I were them, I'd still be living in fear. I don't trust Melanie Pulowski. I don't believe her when she says that she's given up, you know, believing in Chad and Lori. I don't. I think she's a scary person. She tried to kidnap her own children, and one of her own children were dark, tried to kidnap them with her uncle Alex, the killer. How do dark people get saved? They cast out the demon and then they kill the person.
Yeah. And it's the one sure way that Brandon could get full custody of his kids.
There you go. Exactly. Exactly. So if she was prosecuted, he would get full custody because we know, thanks to Megan, that there's no restrictions. So we don't know what she's telling those kids. We don't know what psycho crap she's filling them full of. It just makes you so mad, so angry. Well, Tom Evans, I just think the world of you, and again, so happy that your grandson is doing better and he's improving day by day. And you know, we have all been in praying and sending you our warm love and everything that we can. So we are here for you, my dear. Again, I will put the links in the description to both of the books in Amazon that you wrote. The first one about Lori, the second one about Chad, and the third one, don't know the title yet, but hopefully it'll be coming out in about a month. So we are here for it. And again, thank your wonderful wife, Susan. We appreciate both of you. Thank you so much, my dear.
Thank you. And on behalf of both Susan and I and my whole family, I want to say the support we've gotten from people like you and everybody has been really uplifting. It's gotten us all through this.
Well, we're here for you, okay?
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye now.
Thank you.
Bye.
And Megan, you have a couple of new videos out, do you? Is it on your Patreon, your YouTube? I'm not sure. We're putting your YouTube in chat. So
Yeah, so I've been working my way through Chad's letters, although, you know, I have to take breaks to vomit, so it's going to be a while before I get through all of them.
Right, yes.
But I'm also, you know, I'm working on a couple of other videos that kind of tie into that case and other cases. I'm planning on doing, I think I shared with you, a missing marathon where I'm going to talk about missing persons cases. And I have a video that I released actually just the other day that I recorded shortly after Chad's sentencing, that I recorded, in 2024 and just never posted because I had so many conflicting feelings about it. But it's about the death penalty, so that just came out.
Oh,
And
good.
then
I
I've
want to
got
watch
my
that.
other super secret channel, which is my fun happy place.
The Patreon channel. Yeah. Yeah, it's a
Well,
great.
on Patreon, yeah, on Patreon, I've been talking about, let's say, current events.
Okay, yes, definitely current events. And we missed one big question here, and there's no way we can answer it, but I just didn't want Lena P. to think that we were ignoring her, and we are not. Big question, what's the fix? The world is on its knees, and no one is looking up to see the disaster going on. I wish I knew the answer. I think the answer is make me king, and I'll fix it. But nobody's listening, It's not happening. So, okay, Megan, thank you so much, my dear. We'll have you on again real soon, and we're just taking it day by day. So
Yeah,
thank you,
it's
darling.
always good to be with you guys. Thanks, Mad Chatters. Love you guys.
Take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Night.
And I need to talk to you, young lady. What's going on with your health? I need you to reveal all kinds of personal information to all these strangers, please.
Nothing. It just kind of feels like a mild flu right now.
Oh, gosh. And now one of your family came home sick, and so like it just kind of has gone through everybody now.
It always, well, it's, yeah, basically. Well, my son hasn't gotten sick.
Oh, good. Exactly, Love and Coco. Give Trisha a crown. Somebody give me a crown. Give me this power, people. I'll fix it. Like I said, nobody's listening to me. Oh well. Anyway, well, Megan, you're not Megan. You're what the hell's your name? Stacy. Sorry, I was reading a chat. I was reading a message about Megan. That's why my brain is just like scrambled eggs, people. That's exactly what it's like. Stacy, I want you to rest this weekend because we've got the official Websleuths Investigative Book Club coming up, where we are going to talk about. Hold on. Let me grab it. I hope you didn't see my white legs there. Pretty frightening. Let me grab it here. Our first book is going to be Cruel Sacrifice by Aphrodite Jones. And again, Aphrodite has agreed to come on. We're going to do a Zoom with Aphrodite, so everybody that's in the book club can join in and talk to the author. And what we're going to do, very simple. We're setting up the book club on websleuths.com. Let me go and show you what websleuths.com looks like. www.websleuths. Am I spelling it right? Yes, I am. Okay. Let me share this. In fact, hold on. Let me cancel this because I'm going to log out so I can show you where you can register. Let's see. Let me log out. Come on, log out. There we go. Yes, I accept everything. There we go. Okay. Now, if you want to join this book club, absolutely free. And what's going to be different about it is we will have the authors come and talk to us on a Zoom, so everybody can talk to the author. And we originally thought of this idea with Cheryl McCullen in mind. She has a book coming out in May, and it's fascinating. It's called Swans Don't Swim in a Sewer. I want to make sure I always get it right.
Yeah, you got it.
And it is coming out in May. And Cheryl McCollum's a friend of ours. She's in law enforcement. And it's about the story how she helped a serial killer find the alleged murderer of his daughter. And she's going to come on. We're hoping to get people that were involved in the case on, but we're not going to read that book until May. So until then, we're going to do Cruel Sacrifice. That'll be our first one. And then we're going to pick a second one. We kind of have one in mind, but I don't want to quite announce it just yet. But again, the whole idea is it's free. We want this to be a community. But you need to join websleuths.com because that's where this will all be set up. So let me show you what that looks like, my darlings. Okay, go to websleuths.com and oh, look at this. My gosh, there's cases and stuff. But look in the upper right-hand corner. It says register. Click on that, and then you put your email address in, you let us know you're not a robot, and then you pick a username and da-da-da-da. You are registered on Websleuths.com. And see, and what, even if you don't register, I would invite you and encourage you to go to Websleuths.com and just start scrolling and just start clicking and reading. You will be fascinated by the things that you'll find here. So this is where our book club will be stationed. And Stacy, being the etiquette queen that she is,
Yeah.
has been researching book club etiquette. And we're going to follow book club etiquette, but in our own way. It's going to be like a couple of crazy ladies following book club etiquette. So, it's never going to be a dull moment. What you'll do, we'll read, some chapters, and then we'll come on websleuths.com and post about it and chat about it. I really want this to be a community. I want you all to feel like that you are a part of it, and that when the author comes in, that we've all enjoyed their book and we're excited to talk to them. And that's rare that you can actually get the person that wrote the book to come and do a Zoom with everybody, so everybody from all over the world can join in on this. So join websleuths.com, and when we get the actual book club forum set up, we will let you know, and then we're going to kick in, because we're all about etiquette, right, Stacy?
Oh yeah. Well, the etiquette part for the book club is actually a really basic thing. It's the etiquette part is, participate,
Right.
actually read the book and participate, because we want to hear others' thoughts and opinions on what we're reading.
Exactly.
And that's
Exactly. And it is going to be a lot of fun, everybody. I can't wait to do it. So, and I want to thank our wonderful moderators, and of course, Megan Connor and Tom Evans. Thank you all. It was great to see Lauren in here from Hidden True Crime. I hope you feel better, Lauren. And so our mods, I've got it down now, people. I've got it down. I love our mods. Four Sons Mom, Moonlight View, Yuta, Lisha Gallegos, Lynn Jen 2, Love and Coco, and oh my gosh, Detective's Daughter. Da, 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 da. I got it. I always get stuck on that last one, whoever it happens to be. So thank you, everybody. You were fantastic tonight. And thank you for joining us. And we're going to be back Monday night, 10:30 Eastern, on Websleuths YouTube Live. We'll see you then, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.